Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode with the Sexy Wookiees. This week we are reading Thrawn by Timothy Zahn. It's your simp, Sexy 2.
Hey, it's your girl, Sexy 1.
It's your boy, Sexy Leader.
Let's get to it.
Let's.
All right, guys. So we finally got Nightswan's identity. Were you expecting it to be Signy?
Yes. Actually, I thought it was almost assumed that Signy, that this guy that they met the first time, I thought they always knew that guy who slipped out of their grasp was Nightswan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when Eli went in there and he recognized him, he's like, crap. Like, this was Nightswan. It is, and it's you. That he recognized it was Nightswan because he saw Signy. I thought that was the correlation, not that he knew it was Nightswan and then he found out that was Signy. Like, they always knew Signy was Nightswan. They just didn't know how to find him. So that's, I wasn't too surprised, but I'm still like, what's his deal? Like, that's what I don't know. Like, that's what I want to figure out. Why is he doing this? Like, who is he involved with? Why is he so good at this? Like, what's his past? What is this guy's deal? So that'll be surprising to me. Is anybody else bothered by the fact that his name is Signy and his code name is Nightswan? And that Signy is like Signet, which is like a baby swan.
I was like, of all the name, like, I know some Star Wars names are kind of funky, but when I was like Signy, I was like
a baby swan, and then his code name is Nightswan. I was like, it's kind of lame. Like, all these bird names. Timothy Zahn is doing like a million bird names in this, and I'm like, okay, enough with the earth animal birds. Stop.
When I first read / heard the name Signy, I was like, it kind of sounds like a medication for like constipation. I don't know why that specifically, but like a commercial played in my head for those times that your stomach is upset, for those times that you feel like you have to go, but you just can't.
You have a lot of Tabana gas.
Take Papa Signy.
But that's Tabana gas.
Ease that Tabana gas with a couple Signy. Ask your doctor if Signy is right for you.
Signy is not recommended if you are having too much Tabana gas.
No, but there's like a lot of animal names in this, like all the ships and everything. It's like the Wasp, the Hornet, or
the Thunder Wasp, the Strike Fast, the Chimera.
Yeah, I'm like, these are all like Earth animal names, and it's bothering me. Like one or two every really once in a while.
The animal kingdom.
Yeah, I guess so.
He stands the animal kingdom.
I think so. Like, stop with the animals. I want them to be like, the Eradicator, or some kind of a
something that's
powerful,
like that's gonna scare you.
Not like a bug. What the heck?
I mean, if there were like 1,000 of these bugs, then I'd probably be scared.
I mean, I'll crash my car if there's a wasp in it, but don't get me wrong, wasps are scary. But I wouldn't name a stinking Star Destroyer after it.
I mean, I'm terrified of spiders. Like, the other day at work, there was a spider, and I jumped so fast onto one of the tall tables. I slammed my knees down and I jumped, and I was like, my coworker was like, I didn't know you could jump that high. I was like, neither did I. Killed a spider. I'm not gonna
kill it with fire.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So there's that. Ronald, did you see that coming?
No. Well, because you know me, I don't forecast to what is gonna be. So
you're just along for the ride.
Yeah, just to go back to your question about Nightswan and like what they do, it's kind of like something I thought about when I was finally, when the magical reveal like happened. But I'll go back to more of Eli's reaction. I think in the way I took it was probably always, because if Eli's taking it in the first time, I feel like the way I read it, I take it in the first time. So a little bit differently from how you said Eli kind of already saw and he was already like looking, oh, this must be Nightswan kind of thing. Mine was a little bit more different. When the final reveal happened about it, when when he goes, yes, and I am the Nightswan kind of thing. When he said those
Dun,
words,
dun, dun.
yeah, exactly. Music came on in like in my mind. Like, you know, I made like some
Uh-huh.
physical music in my mind, and I was just like, oh, like was Eli's reaction you know, surprise or shock, like, and because that's just who I feel like when I'm reading a character, they have the same reaction as me and not the other way around. And so yeah, that
Well,
music
what was
came
it?
on.
I feel like Eli was just bewildered, like, for crying out loud.
No, for me it
What do
was
you
like,
think it
yeah,
was?
I felt like he was shocked and I was shocked.
Uh,
And it was weird that like how I was shocked because they didn't really write it in a sense where you go into it like it was gonna be like this big mystery reveal kind
yeah.
of thing. It did read like that way where it's like, oh, this is weird. Like I kind of know this person, and then boom, like I am the Nightswan. But I just took it in a sense like oh, I'm strolling in, and then the Nightswan thing happens.
There it is.
And
I
then
love
the
how
music
Thrawn
comes
later
on,
is
and
like, was it Nightswan? Eli's like, yeah. Like, no big
yeah,
deal.
and then the photo that you put on social media about like, so that's why I'm like, now I have a face to put on Eli,
There you
and
go.
then like kind of give him like that reaction that I need.
That's his
And,
bewildered face as me and Jasmine are yelling at him from
that's his
opposite
like
his double and angel shoulder.
I feel like it's always as clueless like until like he needs
Poor
Thrawn to be
put
there.
upon bewildered Eli.
You need direction from Thrawn, Eli. All right,
Oh,
Jasmine,
wow.
where are you at?
So yes and no. I felt like he was involved, but I didn't think he would actually be Nightswan. I thought he would be part of the operation though. Like, I don't know, maybe like his right hand man or whatever. So when it was like, oh, you're Nightswan, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, all right, let's roll with it.
Sure, why not? Why not be Nightswan? I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
We're
Yeah.
all Nightswan.
We are Nightswan.
Jesus Christ, I want that on the shirt.
No.
We are Nightswan.
Is that going to be the rebellion? It all starts with Nightswan.
That starts with the baby goose. Or what is it? You said it was a goose or a swan?
Swan isn't a signet. Signet is a type of, it's a name for a swan. It's either a male swan or female swan or a baby swan. It's like a designation of swan.
We are baby swan.
We are baby swan.
We're mean.
A little bit.
Poor Signy. He didn't ask for that name. His parents just gave him that stupid name.
I don't know. Maybe that's still a code name.
Well, maybe.
Like
But
a guy that smart, he should have.
If you could
code
give
name.
yourself any name, why would you give yourself such a stupid name?
To throw people off, so they'll be like, "Oh, like a baby swan," and then they won't expect.
If I were to meet someone that tried to act all like hard and tough and they were like, my name's Signy, I'd be like, I want to fight you just because your name is Signy. I do not approve.
Maybe his real name is Taserface.
Taserface!
It's like, no, I need to go to the opposite ends of the spectrum and I'm just going to call myself Signy and then no one will suspect.
I don't want to fight him and his parents.
You can
First, I
join
want to fight his
Thrawn.
parents for giving him
Maybe
such
that's
a
why
stupid
Thrawn's
name.
trying to like hunt him down so hard. He's like just offended by the name.
I would
He
too.
can't. Nightswan's a stupid name too. So he just
That's
went from
why
one
I
stupid
wanna-
name to another stupid name.
That's why I want to fight his parents for naming him Signy, and then I want to fight him for giving himself the name Nightswan. Like,
That's
you're
why
not
Thrawn is
cool.
obsessed.
Wait, Swan, Signy, I get it.
See, that's what I'm saying. Stupid.
God, I wanna
Shout out
fight
to
him.
everybody whose name's Signy.
There better
Sorry.
not be anybody.
If that's your name, I'm gonna fight your
Unfollow us.
parents. It's not your fault. Your parents gave you that name, but I'll fight them for you.
Yeah, you gotta change it.
All right, ready for the next one
Sure,
before
what's the
we
next
continue
question?
roasting this man?
The roast of Signy.
Oh god, that'd be good. All right. Do you think Arinda will be able to get the mission done without her personal feelings getting in the way?
I wonder what roasted swan tastes like. I don't think I've ever
Bruh,
eaten
next
swan.
question.
Okay, Arinda, my girl. Without her feelings getting in the way.
Oh my god.
So I'm thinking about it. I'm like, if I had duck, if I had like quail,
I can't.
of course, like chicken Goose, probably had goose. But I've never had swan. Can you eat swan? I'm sure you can eat swan.
You can
They're
eat
mean little
anything if you
suckers
really
too.
want.
Sure.
Don't eat
Anyway,
people.
unless
Another one.
absolutely necessary.
What is this? The Donner Party?
That's what I'm talking about.
I
Or you plane crash up in the Arctic or something. Anyway, no.
What's the name of that movie?
Alive.
stop.
This is
I
getting
watched
way
that
off
when I was
track.
like years
We're
old.
talking about
Should I let you-
cannibalism.
Although I watched tons of stuff on the Donner Party when I was really young, and I thought I was fascinated. I was like, "This is crazy.
Oh my god.
I would do that." Wouldn't even think twice. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I think Arinda's personal feelings are a huge part of her drive. So I don't think she can separate the two. Now, I don't know if it's going to get in the way, but she does use her personal desire and everything like revolving around her as motivation to do everything she does. So I think it will guide her decisions and I don't know, like maybe cause her to make some calls that she wouldn't have otherwise if it was just like a completely impersonal business operation. So no, I don't think she can go in and not have feelings. But I think her feelings make her stronger. So it's almost a good thing that she's so personally invested in this. Yeah. You tell
That
me.
must mean it's a good answer.
That's the sign.
That's the.
Here's
That's
some animals outside.
you got the stamp approval.
That's it.
Let's see here. I think I agree, but then my answer is gonna go a different way. Yes, her feelings are what's gonna kind of either make or break this decision, this mission. Because judging by the fact when I was reading this part, trying to get into Arinda's footsteps was really like it was too rushed when it was like, oh, your parents could be there. That's what we're talking about, right? So I think like when the parents come into play, and then when remembering about like how all this was about, price mining and like the legacy of this family. Yeah, there's a lot on the line, right? But then I started thinking about it's also going to be tough for her to what do you call it, to kind of that momentum that she's already built with the empire. Like what's that gonna do if you go through with this, right? So I started thinking like, well, I mean, not that I think this way, but I always see this type of things in movies or now in books that I've read. This part is like her going on this mission is really like you kind of went soft, right? And all this time that you've been building up uh to try to get to where you're going and where else you can still go is like you're gonna throw away all for this to skew off. Because like who was it that was just like, no, let's blast this thing into oblivion, doesn't matter what, like I don't care who's on there, right? But then somebody else was just like, no, don't, your parents are might like could possibly be there. So
this
to
might be the
me,
last shred of sentimentality she has, though. We've
correct,
seen her
correct.
like abandon everything else she used to kind of feel personal attachment to,
Right,
her
right.
friends, her appreciation for her planet, all this stuff in sacrifice to her ambition. And the last thing she stole, like without a second thought, like close down my parents' company, forget it, we don't need it anymore. Like, and now the very last personal sentimental thing she has left is her parents. Like,
right.
is she gonna cut that tie too?
So you kind of knew where I was going with it.
Yeah.
Like my end game there was like she meets the parents and then just like you chose the wrong side, just like how she did with the friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, like really, like like your own parents, and that's where I said like I do see it
It's been building up.
yeah, it might be building up to that, and I'm like I didn't want to speculate, but like I was like, what if?
What if?
It would-
Yep. Oh, you
I
didn't
don't
get a dog
know.
bark, but I still think you're right.
Yeah.
Like
Chaz,
I
what
know
about
he's
you?
talking about.
I mean, you are right that like it's probably the last thing that she's sentimental about. But I mean, so you guys know me. I can be an emotional person, but at the same time, I know that you have to separate your emotions and feelings to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I feel like she might be able to still get the job done. But if she can't separate her feelings, I don't think it'll be as good as it could be, you know?
Mhm.
And I feel like she could let that last thing, and if she knows that's the last thing she's holding on to, I feel like that could get in the way of like a very successful mission. It could get in the way of like other stuff, because what if she's trying to get the information, but then she's like, oh, something's happening to my parents, I have to abandon
Yeah.
them. So that's why like I'm a little skeptical, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, I feel like it could go either way, but I personally don't think it'll go as well as it could.
Yeah, it is crazy, and I think all our answers are correct. Like,
Mhm.
if I was on the rebellion side of all of this, then all my emotions are gonna go out when it comes to like that. If she had been on the rebellion side, on the flip side of this, yeah, then I would like every emotion for me just goes out, and all decision making goes based on that emotion out the door.
Mhm.
And I think what's different about this empire is that whatever decisions we made, and if our if our predictions are correct,
Mm-hmm.
then it's the one path to the dark side pretty much. And I'm excited to see where it goes, and if Arinda can pull it off where she's just like, all I need is closure, but I don't need you. Boom, like this.
Oof.
She has really proven to me
Mhm.
in this book that this character can actually like it's not just all about chasing rebellions and smugglers and all that. It's really like, yo, I'm just as cold as Thrawn, as Tarkin, like as
Mm-hmm.
everybody else in there. And you gotta like it's telling me, Ronald, you gotta go rewatch Rebels. And now you know me. Now you know me. And this is why I'm governor of Lothal.
Yeah. Once you see how she gets there
Yeah.
and what she's like, give it another
So
watch, I'd
I'm
say.
still following Arinda's journey here. So
Mhm.
let's go.
Definitely my favorite part of the book. Like she's
Alright.
a crazy character. What's next?
All right, last question. So, do you think Thrawn is that heartless, or do you think he has a plan or reason for leaving the ships helpless?
That's yes and yes. Oddly
Mhm.
enough, I do think Thrawn is heartless. I don't think he's sentimental or would do anything just to be kind. I think to him everything's about efficiency, even in the times when he'll sacrifice equipment to save people's lives, it's not because he's attached emotionally or he feels like the value of life or something. It's just, well, one can be replaced and the other can't. It's more efficient. It's, he's cold and meticulous like that. So if it benefited the greater good, yes, I think he would sacrifice them. But I also think he has a plan. I think he always has a plan. So the way that it's described so specifically, this one is kind of here, this one's kind of here, and this one's here, and they're in a certain way that if this happened, this could happen. I'm like, okay, so this is a total setup for something. He's putting him out there as bait, and he knows, he's already predicting what's going to happen, and he's got a plan for it. Like that's just how Thrawn operates. But does that mean he's putting somebody at risk? Yes. And he's always like, well, yeah, there's a chance that somebody could get hurt or this could happen. I was taking a gamble that we could lose this many people, but I had a feeling I'd be right. Like he does that all the time. Like all these missions, he's like, They're like, but you had like 3 people on the ship. What if it was full of crew members and they all got shot? He's like, well, there was a chance of that happening, but I didn't think so. So, and it always works out. So yes, I do
In
think
his
he'll
favor.
risk. Yeah, exactly. He will risk people's lives. I don't think that he is there to make friends, but I do think he has a plan.
Yeah, let's piggyback off that answer, but in different
right ahead.
wordings. Yeah, no, let's go. I think this week for me, the song I'll be listening to, I can't remember who sang it, is going to be Heartless. He's heartless because
Dang.
he's a savage. I don't know.
I've been saying this since chapter 1. This guy.
Exactly, and we're gonna keep on it till he's savage
cold.
until Rebels. I'll say it that. I don't know what the show's gonna be when he comes out, but how do women not love this dude? Because women love guys that they cannot read, and this dude, you cannot read him because one, there's really, where's his emotion ever? None.
Right.
And then he's such a he's like, the strategy, I think he's already mastered, and this is why at this point of the book it's already Admiral Thrawn, right? We're already getting the guy who's admiral that we know. So it's not his final title, but it's like it's that he's one step away. So or I don't know if there's other steps, but he's, to me it's one step away. So yeah, you can't read him, but everything he's done so far, you're right, it's like he has something to it's like, this is why Eli questions like everything he does, but then everything he does, it's like he's probably telling Eli, told you, and then told you so, and then giving him the, this is why I did it, right? And this is why Eli can still learn a lot from him, because there's so much uh I don't know why his species learns so quickly to become great, but there's also a part in the book he's like, this is how far he goes, and this is why we don't see him go past the title we already I don't want to say that title until we actually read it.
I'm sure we'll
but
get there.
this is why he doesn't leave like this, like he's always in the Navy, right? He's always like commanding like some certain mission, and he doesn't get up to maybe Tarkin's level,
Well,
and
that's
all and the rest
not
of
a
them.
Navy commission. Like, he gets to the top of the military.
Oh, of his military. Okay, well, yeah. So it says it in the book there that like this is like where he specializes it, and so yeah, I think he's already got this in the book. Like, this is why we're reading about the other two characters, Eli and Arinda, more, and we're going through them because we're seeing what Thrawn is through these two eyes. So you have to read them separately. I read them separately. uh Arinda and Eli, how they like through their eyes, what is Thrawn like, right?
Mhm.
And then that's how I read it. But yeah, dude, no emotion. So that's why it's like when I'm reading him as Arinda, it's like, oh, like it's you, Commandant. like she's always so surprised, like, dude, you already know this guy.
Like, this guy.
But every time it's like it's always like a surprise to meet him, and then always like she's always needing something from him, and she's always sucking up to him. But I mean, in return, Eli's just the same way. Like, he needs to be, like I said, Eli's the shadow of Thrawn. So it's like, man, it's crazy. But yeah, man, this man is heartless and cold. Like, no emotion, and I love it. I love this. I didn't love this character, and I've hated this character in Rebels, and everyone's just so gung-ho about this character. For me, Thrawn, reading it in the book, like, gives me some a different perspective. So when we start reading him in Legends, if we ever do, like,
Oh my
man,
gosh.
like,
Yeah, I
yo,
can't wait till we
let's
read that
bring it,
one.
because I want to see him through the eyes of different characters, but as well as like the way he's written differently by different people. And did they keep that? Well, I think it's only written by this one author. So did he write him
Think so.
differently?
Oh,
And
yeah.
did he keep a lot of his traits in there? So sorry for rambling, but I'm just saying that Thrawn is heartless, but he's now more of like, whoa, this is a really interesting character to me now.
Mhm. Nice.
I have a follow-up question to that after Jasmine answers.
So I don't think he's heartless. I think he's cold, but I don't think he's completely heartless because um I think in the last chapter when he was saying he wants the hostages unharmed. He doesn't want anything to happen to them. And I was like, okay, if someone was really heartless, they wouldn't care about the hostages. They'd be like, well, whatever. If we lose a few, as long as we get the system back, you know. Um, so I don't think he's heartless. I think he's cold. And for the ships being left defenseless and helpless if something were to happen, I think there is a reason to all that, and not just because he's like, I don't care what happens to them, but I think he has calculated something that us as the readers just don't know yet. So I feel like there is a reason for his plan because there is with all of his plans. Like he does his studying, his calculations. So I don't think he's heartless. I think he's just cold. But because he can separate his feelings, that's why he keeps getting the job done.
Feelings. Does he have those?
He probably does, but not at work. He turns them off at work.
Only in crack fiction.
Yeah.
So my question is, like Ronald said, he's been rising through the ranks. He seems very driven to be excellent and get results, and keeps talking about, oh, I just want to serve the Empire. I just want to have like the best possible outcome to every situation. Okay, but we know he's always got a real plan. Like he's always working towards something. This is an alien from the unknown regions. He has no loyalty to the Emperor, like the Empire, for any particular reason. Why is he trying so hard? What is he working towards? What is his end game? Like, what is his goal here? Why is he trying to get to the top of this, you know, machine? That's what you got to think about, because this is short term. This is winning a battle here, winning a battle there, getting a ship, getting a commission, trying to figure out what the Empire is building that's taking up all this dunium and stuff. Like, this is all for personal secret plan reasons that has nothing to do with the Empire or smashing the rebellion. Like, he's got his own agenda, I think.
So I kind of know the answer to that.
Cheater!
Tumblr! Years and years, because these books have been out long enough.
I know, that's true.
I don't know 100% the answer, but I know part of why, and I promise it will make more sense and it will be worth the payoff.
Okay, Ronald, what do you think?
So yeah, let me go with this because I don't know, so I can only go by what I do know. As a savage,
Why do you keep calling him that?
Because dude, like, to me, if you're savage,
cutthroat.
you're somebody epic. You're a legend. You're legendary. So I call him savage not to mock him, but as a like, that's my type of level where like, man, this dude is savage. So every time I watch Rebel now, it's like, man, I know what the outcome is, but this guy is savage that he's like, dude, and we already know. I'll just say it. He comes back in the show, so we still know he's somewhat alive, or I don't know what part of him is alive, or how are you even still alive?
He could be cut in half and
somehow,
still be alive.
this dude comes back the same way that
survived.
Emperor comes back. So that's savage, and for the Emperor, he's savage.
You gotta say it Star Wars way, savage.
Savage. Okay, I like it. I like it. So let me go here. I think it's just whatever this species is, right? And not reading whatever this species is like, why do they have like an urgency for, and he's already talked about these certain things that we've already read in the book, like his art collection. He's fascinated with that. He was very fascinated with buzz droids and learning. So
Clone Wars stuff.
this is very much yeah, and then things that where he talks about like that he's worked with Anakin Skywalker kind of thing. All these things that have gone through his, like, his life or whatever, has really, I think, shaped him to, he's just, it's, if we take out emotion out of all this guy,
Mhm.
then every part of his being is learning, right? We can all take a page out of Thrawn's book, because that's all life is about. You learn and you just keep learning and learning. If you stop learning, you're then hopefully you've learned so much that your life is satisfied with it, right? But that's what gets me, because he's this eagerness to keep learning like this,
It's more like
and
gathering information or
and
gathering intel.
gathering
That's what it
whatever it
feels
is.
like.
But it's not like I need a showboat, and then if he stayed commandant, if he stayed admiral, for I think he's like satisfied with it. There's not it, every time he has leveled up, every time he's promoted, I'm always just like, where's his emotion? Like, where am I reading? Like, there's none. There's none. And it's like, it's always
Weird.
the people around him that are just like, oh man, or it's the
Or
people who hate
angry.
him are just like man, he's like, who's this alien who promoted so quickly in the empire? Whatever it is, like, he does not lose his focus. This is a laser eyed focus, and that's what these two characters, Eli and Arinda, can learn from him so much, is that you just got to be like Thrawn and you're gonna survive. It doesn't, like, if you can take out all the noise around you and focus,
Focus.
like, you just that laser eyed focus on whatever you need. This is what he's always focused on, the mission.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, let's just take it this way. There's I know they don't talk about, like, I've never seen this species eat, this being eat, right? Like,
Did you
I
ever
don't even
see
know,
him
like,
eating?
whether he eats, whether, like, what do you like to do outside of the things that I've read? Nothing, right? Always the mission.
In Legends, he has a pet, and it's my favorite thing.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's. Oh man, don't tell me.
I know.
I don't
We'll
want to
have to
know. I
read
don't
that
want to know.
someday.
I don't know. But yeah, so keep your laser-eyed focus on whatever life is. And my thing to you is, wherever your place that you can be happy in, or you can be focused in, because not happiness is an emotion. Take out all the noise that's around you and just focus on that, and you'll be all
Wow.
right.
Motivational life lessons from Thrawn.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, we don't have much left to learn from, because what are we reading? Are we finishing it next?
Yeah, we are finishing this book, chapters 26 through the end.
Oh my gosh, we are almost wrapping it up.